So I just finished making that bluegill. Very beefy, quite spiffy, but gave me the idea. Why not just make it look, what's the word? Tattered? Tattered? Mean? I'm actually just trying to come up with what I'm gonna title this video. Here's a little bit of a drawing here. This gnarly bluegill. You see? Gnarly. Let's just go with gnarly. It makes no sense, but what's the definition of gnarly? This is almost like fun facts here. We're looking stuff up. Gnarly, bruh. Difficult, dangerous, or challenging. She battled through the gnarly first sequence. Oh, here we go. This is the slang. This is the more appropriate, accepted definition of gnarly today. Distasteful or distressing, offensive, gross, gnarly humor, you know? Stuff like that. That's the word. We're gonna be making the most gnarly bluegill possible here. I need to stop saying gnarly. Let's get to work. All the fins on this are going to be made out of Lexan polycarbonate, I think. Trying to keep this little drawing here I glued to the piece of wood, you know, so I can use it as a stencil later. I don't think it's gonna work though. Yeah, I guess that didn't really matter at all because I can just print off another. Technology. I apologize if it goes dark instantly. We're already carving gills. I just did the first plate on that side. Looking gnarly. Kind of messed up on that first line, sorry. Carving on the outside one. Trying to cut a series of straight lines. Just plunge the blade in straight. Add to the gnarly effect. That line was wigging me out. It's like I was cross-eyed while carving. That is just tattered. I wanted to quickly mention that because this glider is kind of small, even with the tail coming off the back, I don't think this is going to be much over 6 inches. I wanted to see about adding this, and I wouldn't really call this a lip. This is just like, well, yes, it's a small lip. That is what it is. Just to see if it gets the head kicking out a bit. It might make it erratic. That would be cool. A less patterned action. That would be great. Ooh. It's not funny. Funny bones are stupid. I glued all of the fins onto a very thin sheet of Lexan polycarbonate. I believe this is 0.06. But what's sweet about this Lexan is it just bends and snaps back into place. It's that thin. From my experiences, it's been a very, very good thickness to make fins out of on these kinds of baits. I've made like a 1/2 inch slot, really clean 1/2 inch slots with this tool. It's just on end grain like this, it's very difficult. On each one of these fins I have a little tab coming off of what's gonna hold the fin into the body. But I gotta make the slot deep enough to accept the whole tab, you know? And if you're thinking a Dremel with some sort of disc attachment to plunge into there is gonna make a cleaner slot or make this easier, you've probably never done that before. It's not very easy to control a high-speed tool to that sort of accuracy. I mean, it's not easy to control this thing. A lot of people, they know of the tool and they know the function of it, you know? So they're like, dude, just use that. They don't understand how difficult it is to control a power tool while making something this delicate. Sorry, I'm sounding quite elitist right now. I'm gonna shut up and do my work. We are getting there though. Look at that. I got the tail fin pretty much done too. Of course I have to add the spines to all these. There's gonna be 2 more up here. Let's get those cut real quick and installed. This feels very weird to do. We're going for gnarly. That means a big old bite mark, and I think that's gonna look best, actually having those cavities just smashed in there, recessed and scraped out, because that's what a tooth's gonna do on a fish. Tried to pull out a bunch of flesh with it, kind of thing. Especially this one back here. That is accurate. That's gonna look good painted, because I can put red in there, and the red's gonna fade into just like a black hole. That's the difficult thing about making wounds look good. You paint it pink, you paint it red, you try to fade it and stuff, but it's flat and it just doesn't look like a wound. That's gonna look like a wound. And then around there, the scales I can bring to an off-white color, like it's missing scales. That's gonna look good. Put the fins on. Get the full effect. Look at this. It is so nice how every fin just snaps into place too and stays. I guess the fins are so see-through it's hard to tell, but look at it. Wow. Gnarly. I'm kind of thinking this is not going to work, but my plan is to just try to brush resin into those cavities and have them fill up entirely. Get the air bubbles out. And this is already a perfect off-white color for gnarly teeth. I think I got it. Oh, I see a tooth. Oh. I'm gonna let those vibe out, just like that. And we can clean them up and do whatever else needs to be done to them later. My brush did a little bit of stuff to them that It wasn't supposed to, but it makes them look gnarly and chipped and stuff, which is gonna fit the bait. And really, I'm not going to need to install those until after the first clear coat. Same with the fins. I'm not gonna install the fins until after the first layer of paint. So maybe I'll install the teeth after the first layer of paint. So I need to carve out a spot for the teeth to be in the mouth and finish the mouth, and then cut the bait in half, weigh it, hardware, paint. We're getting close. There's the 4 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Wow, dudes, this is looking good. Feeling really good about this bait too, and its action and its performance. It's got that body style that's really favors glide baits. The more bait, the better when it comes to glide baits. Nice. Got all those holes lined up. I need to know exactly where this line tie is going. Here comes a big old eyeballer right here. I'm just gonna try to center it. That is my favorite way of measuring. Because when you get it right, it feels good. When you make baits like this, just random stuff, you gotta learn fast where the lead belongs, or else you're just gonna make a bunch of baits that don't work. This one I was noticing before I cut it in half, I could set it up on a table like that, and it would actually sit on its belly. It would rest perfectly on the lowest part of the belly and just sit there nice and balanced. But theoretically, if that was the case with this bait when everything was on it, I could just put a buttload of weight right there on the lowest part of the belly and it would run fine. But I'm gonna bump it up forward just to smidge it, and I'm also gonna put some weight in this piece, and then I'll test it. And we have to seal the wood before all this, so let's seal this wood. But we have to drill the lead holes before sealing the wood, so I'm just all over the place today. I'm loving drilling on top of sanding sponges because they're grippy, but then they give a little bit too. They push the work back up into the bit at a very consistent pace. Easy to control. Give it a shot, it's pretty nice. But that's all the holage for the front piece. And then just to say we did so, that's not gonna do much, but it is there. There's our holage for the lead. This is a solution that thins the sealer. Probably good not to get that stuff in your eye. So yeah, the goal isn't to have a smooth finish after the sealer. You kind of have to remember that. It's to get a sandable finish and to make sure water can't penetrate your wood grain. So that's fully covered, and then I thinned it out a little bit, removed the excess, and that's what we're dealing with. That's gonna harden, and I'm gonna sand it more, and then we're gonna paint it. Got some joint connections made. Lead's hot. That was like 4 drops. We are just gonna top this puppy off though. Don't be bashful. You can remove lead. You fill up your holes and then you remove it to get the right weight and balance. As you can see, we're not even close. That calls for more lead. So that's a lot closer. That's right. I just drilled a hole into the side of the belly of this bait. For more lead. Anything for a few more drops, am I right? It's obviously not enough, but it's something. I am certainly cool with crank down style swim baits. Like if I can get this thing to float very, very slow, like just barely float, and then have a good distance of travel down on the retrieve, like crank down well. I think the lip off the front of this thing is gonna be enough for that to happen, so I might as well take advantage of it. Oh, these are good split rings, man. So if we get this put together, put it in the tank with everything on it, and what it's doing is sticking out of the water like an inch, half inch, 3/4 of an inch. I can deal with that, that's fine. Yep. It's sticking out of the water like a half inch. And it's not even that head forward. It comes up level. It doesn't come up this way or this way. It's just, that's fantastic. I just pushed it forward a little bit and I saw the head want to dip. That means that lip's gonna catch a little. and we could have an amazing cranking, waking action off this thing. I know I don't usually make swim baits like this, slow sink or sink at all. It's because I really don't want to lose them. And it helps a lot if they float. That's it, onward. Super glue and baking soda. It's miraculous. A lot of people ask me why I don't just use the wood chips and dust that I have around the shop and mix it with super glue. It's because super glue and baking soda makes a completely different, like way harder material when you mix them. Like they use it for chips on helicopter wings. That's how strong this stuff is. There's stuff I haven't used out there, but this is the best I found so far. Layer of paint, teeth, clear coat, layer of paint. It's okay if the clear coat goes over the teeth after the first. We'll see. I actually don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Starting with black. There's gonna be a base coat of color shift and then a little bit of it in the details. Awesome dude sent me some powders, 1 second. Congratulations on the new baby. Thank you. I'm excited to see what sort of baits you can do with this stuff. It says mix it with a clear medium and apply it over black to see the color shift effect. We just put black on the bait. We're gonna be mixing it with Createx Paints sells a transparent base that you can mix your pigments with. Why would you guys focus here? Of course, you have to know that your pigments are the correct size powder. These powders happen to be 30 to 120 UM, and I happen to not know exactly what I should be shooting out of that airbrush, but I'm sure it's fine. It's powder, it's fine. Bluegills. I'm putting a base coat on. I'm gonna go with gold, blue, and violet. This stuff does stuff to stuff. So this is about as special as it gets when it comes to shooting something out of an airbrush. There aren't really companies out there making paint this crazy, even though it's that easy to make. As you just witnessed, I just made my own paint right there. I feel like I need a little bit more powder. Just mix that up together. You could do that yourself and bottle it and sell it and probably make a killing, but mix that up together. Oh, I've got my black in my airbrush still, 1 second. That is most definitely gonna work. I needed to make a lot more than that. 1 sec. So I'm putting gray back down towards the belly because I'm gonna come in with a different color shift color and shift colors from the shiftiness that already exists to yellow and green and red. I don't know how all this is gonna look. I've never used this stuff before, but I've got some confidence in it, so I'm just gonna put it on the bait. Big difference. That looks cool. You guys can't see it yet, sorry. Just know that I'm seeing some really cool stuff and you can't. So by using detail smoke black for that and those bars, it doesn't really, those bars aren't just boom there. I don't want black to be what's defining these bars. I want the other colors too. Think chartreuse. I'm gonna come up from the other way with chartreuse. A little extra detail there. That made it look a lot better. Okay, that came together quite a bit, especially after I added that chartreuse. For a first coat, that's pretty detailed, that's pretty good. I'm gonna leave it at that. So now there's a bunch of stuff I need to glue into this bait. All the fins and the teeth. 5-minute epoxy to get all this stuff secured. Using a razor blade to get the epoxy in that crease and just in that crease. I don't need no bumps everywhere. Sorry, I'm not gonna get good video of this. I'm on a bit of a time crunch here with the 5-minute epoxy. That is a thing of gnarly beauty. Wow, look at this. I better get some paint on those fins before we do that clear coat too. That way, the detail that I put on the Lexan will show up and not just be covered up by a clear coat, and then you put paint over the clear coat and it's smooth. So yeah, that needs paint on the fins now. Starting out with just this yellow ochre. Gonna put that on all the fins. I think I want kind of a beaten, bloody look for all these fins, so there's gonna be some red. Just make it really confusing looking and have a lot going on, and I think that'll add to the gnarliness. Where did that go? Oh, good, I found it. I'm gonna have to be careful about that. Just getting these teeth cut off of this strip here, and we're gonna install them. That first part that's getting inserted into the holes in the mouth is a little too fat. Trim it down real quick. Can you tell I'm excited? I've never made teeth like this for a bait. I've carved teeth into a bait, but I've never like had pokey teeth like this. I'm just gonna super glue these ones in. Tiny, tiny drop of that, and should be good. The clear coat's what's gonna actually hold these in. You might be surprised by the large amount of white I just put on that bait, but trust me, that was necessary. It's not gonna be all white like that. That was just a base to introduce new colors after the clear coat. So I'm also gonna put some white on the belly here. Let's get those teeth installed. Some glue in there. Okay, I just dropped a tooth in there. A very gnarly, jagged, broken tooth at the bottom there. Let's get the rest in. This is gonna look ridiculous, but that's good. This bait's gonna have 4 teeth because I lost 2 of them. That is just funny. I'm not sure if it's me just hoping that it's not, that it looks fine, or what am I saying? I don't know if I'm just hoping that it's convenient that those teeth are blue, but that looks kind of funky with those blue teeth. Looks like he has a fungus or something, and they're off-white already. That looks good. It's time for a clear coat. Mixing up the clear coat, I have a couple different kinds of glitter in here. Very, very small flake. I'll have some paint over it, but it'll show through. And there's parts of this bait that I need to be careful not to touch with the clear coat. Yeah, it's a super thin coat, and I'm gonna hang this up to dry. I'm not gonna put it on the rotisserie. And if you're wondering why I'm using such a large brush, it's because that's all I got right now. Oh my goodness. Those fins up there, when you put the clear coat over them, they go translucent. I kept clear coat out of the mouth too. While applying the clear coat, it seemed like that was the best thing to do, because you can just see how thick the clear coat is, and it's like, no, you don't want to put clear coat there yet. That's what I decided. I'm gonna have to watch this like a hawk. Make sure the clear coat does everything I want it to do. No messing around. That is one gorgeous tail piece right there. This is a rather important step right here. Floppy masking looks bad. There we go. I'm gonna put the mesh on backwards for the scales. I'm gonna try not to be too forceful with anything. Line up the scales good. I wanna be careful not to grab that masking fluid and move it. And I'm clamping the fin up at the top. Why is this paper towel sticky? What the heck? You. Go away. Out of my life. Boom. Sorry, I got the billy strings loud right now. Boom! Nice and tightly pressed up against the body everywhere. Let's paint some scales. Get your sticky paper towels, lay it down on that. Okay, if I get too complicated with this, I'm not gonna remember what to paint for the other piece, or even on the other side for that matter, so I'm gonna try to keep this simple. Light coat of platinum over the whole thing. I wanna get up by the head where that bump is too. Okay, fluorescent sunburst orange. I need to remember to line my colors up. Get plenty of that down there. It's just been decided that I'm gonna put Wicked Fastback, green over the top. Yeah, that looks fine. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. 3-color scale pattern right there. That sunburst orange is taking forever to cure, but I wanna get these off of that fin up there. I don't wanna imprint a bunch of scale marks into there, even though it probably already happened. Okay, I guess I'm just taking all of it off. That looks great. That is just fantastic. Just watch when I take this masking fluid off. Let me do the back piece and I'll get to taking that off there. Get my grubby fingernail in there. Start peeling. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Kind of feel creepy right now. Some weirdo peeling a layer of skin or something. Fantastic. Kept those gill plates nice and crispy and gave the body some of the detail it needed. Okay, so I just painted that right there. A little bit of red around those teeth marks, but that's not red, that's magenta actually. The thing is though, with details like that after there are already scales, you have to line up your scale mesh perfectly over what already exists. And covering up mistakes by adding more detail and making it look more gnarly. Magenta is a fantastic color for wounds at first if you put that down as a base. And then if you come back over a little bit with red, then it looks really realistic. There's browns, like scabbiness too. This bait's a survivor. This dude wins against muskies. That's how gnarly it is. Just gonna keep doing that until there's a ton of detail on the gills. That was raw umber. This is thinned down blue. It's like a sky blue. I'm not looking to put just a solid blue down. Let some of that white show through too. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're painting a fancy oil painting or a fishing lure. The brush strokes that you leave matter. They make a big impression. You gotta be aware of your brush strokes and what direction you're going and stuff. So this is crimson and it's going just straight into those holes. And that's it. I'm not gonna smear red all over the side of this bait. Keep it very localized, which I think looks more natural. Not too experienced with doing wounds like this, but it's looking good. Looks like a wound and it's bruised. It's really all about taking your time. Force yourself to take an awkwardly long amount of time to do something and it turns out real good. Unless you think this isn't turning out good, then whatever, man. I have a bunch of dead meat custom eyes right here. Right here. But I've already decided I'm gonna use those. So, you might have noticed, this doesn't have a round eye socket. I have to cut some of this eye. I made it so a little bit can slip in under there so it looks seamless, but still I have to cut some of this eye. Just mean, dude. Just shaving down little bits at a time, trying to creep up on the fit. I don't know why I'm using my nice knife to do this. Probably go get a Delfino 3. It's close. I'm gonna file the rest. Slam that into there. Okay. The fit was a tiny bit off, but I just squished it in there and it fits great now. Like a glove, look at that. It's like it was made for it. Just a seamless fit. Beautiful. I know what you're wondering. How long are those teeth gonna last with that line able to rip at them constantly? Probably not long, but that's why I take the thumbnail right when I get to the first fishing spot. Here's the finished bait, fellas. This is clear coated. I assembled those joints. Came out awfully clean, those joints did. Put some sticky sharp owner treble hooks on this. Let's do a good old once over here. Look at the detail on those gills, dude. And that cut up dead meat custom eye. Perfect. Shut up, air conditioner. Just seamless. It looks like it goes under that cheek, you know? That mouth looks kind of cool with holes in it where teeth should be. Those fins came out fantastic as well with the clear coat kind of pulled up on there. Those aren't going anywhere. Like there's a little well of clear coat running up the sides, which looks fantastic too. Those bite marks, they're perfect too. The clear coat, there's still divots after the clear coat. There's still kind of holes, but it's like all clear coated over. This side's a little deeper. I looked at it close, it's all clear coated. So that looks cool. Anywho, that is the gnarliest bluegill bait I'll ever make probably. I don't know why I would want to top that. It starts getting creepy after this, you know? Not that this isn't creepy at all. All right, let's go see how it works. I'm gonna go do some strange fishing. I'm at a lake. Oh, it's so gnarly. Oh my goodness. Okay, check out the action. It's a floater. Oh, and it dives. It dives. You can feel it. It's dump, dump, dump. Dude, this is so good. Oh, why am I so excited about that? That's so good. Okay. You crank it down, it goes down. Then once it's down there, you can kind of slow down your retrieve, and it does the traditional glide bait, super wide S swim. But after a while, it'll float back up to the surface, and then you crank it back down and swim. That feels so good in a fishing way. Look at how it kicks out. Okay, I need to be able to show you guys this. That's a different action that's just fantastic. Like much more wounded and erratic. And it goes down like 2 feet. Probably more with the line out. Yeah, it's just gone. Over 2 feet for sure. That's exciting. I can make this thing look like it's having issues. We're at Jesse's. I got the gnarly gill. Let's make a few casts. Got one. Oh, come on, stay on. Stay on. Oh, it's official. It's a dink, but it's official. That is one brave bass. Bass like gnarly bluegills. Tiny, tiny little bass like that, like gnarly bluegills like that. I think it's official that no matter how scary you make a bait look, the bass will still bite it. Be free. Oh!
Something hit it?
Yeah, come back. Oh! Come back. That's not a small one. I had him for a second. I don't know why I swung it over my head. All right, they want it slow and right on the bank. Got him. Oh my goodness, I let that thing sit there. And that bass took it. That was miraculous. Just let it sit there. They don't want this mean looking lure moving, apparently. Its head's way too big for its body. Be free. And that ripped off both of the teeth on the bottom. Unfortunately. It was bound to happen. Oh boy. Just broke my line off on a pallet with that bait, but I marked the location. I'll be able to come back and pull up the pallet and grab the bait. I'm gonna scrape the bottom for pallets, see if I can pull one up and if it has my bait or not. Yeah, nothing. I was standing closer to there, but I snagged it over this way. There's something that's not moving. This might be it. There it is.
Your lure?
Yeah. It's a pallet box. That's what I got stuck on.
Gotcha.
I got it. Whew, that's the hardest I've ever went to get a lure back. Got him. Top water, wasn't even moving it. It's super official. Dude, that was after rescuing this bait too. Very brave, dinky little skinny bass. Like gnarly bluegills. This bait really does work best when you just leave it floating like that and just do that to it once in a while, right close to the bank. I'll tell you what. Morning, folks, we're at the ditch. This is the last spot, because every spot is just another chance to lose this. I have a bazillion pound test leader, because there are pike here. And let's do our best to catch a fish and not lose the lure. I need to drag this thing along the bank. No. That log is not submerged that shallow. I had way more space than that. Okay. I got my lure back. That's kind of freaky. There's probably so many snags in this spot. And I was thinking I'm gonna swim right into one and get a treble hook in the leg, but I'm fine, I did it. I did not bring a camera with me because, I don't know, it's just one heck of a struggle, and I was half naked, and yeah, I got my lure back though. Let's fish. That's the third rescue of this bait, and it's official. Gnarly bluegills do not like to be in people's tackle collection. Got him. Woo! It's a bit better of a fish, whatever it is. Maybe I just have him hooked weird. What do you know, it's another bass. Biggest bass yet. Why do I only catch bass, dude? Biggest bass yet. I was kind of going for a slow-mo with some action to it, but that bass was lame. Let me go get the bait. After that much fishing, we've lost all the teeth. There is just no teeth left. Could use a set of dentures when I'm not fishing it, I guess. And due to this bait's propensity to dive, that bottom lip got super chewed up because it was hitting rocks and just those rocks weren't moving. I do think that this leader had quite a bit to do with that as well. The most paint on the body that was damaged is that chip right there. Other than that, not only does it have every fin, none of the clear coat on the fins or anything is cracked. Like that whole side of the body looks like new except the mouth. I'm trying to say that I was really impressed with how well this held up. I'm gonna put it on my wall. So after saving that bait's life 2 times, we managed to catch fish after each time as well. What'd we get? 1 bass at Jesse's, we got a hit at the airport pond, and then we got a bass, and I got my bait back and I got a bass, but that hit doesn't count, so I'm at 3, and I caught a bass at the ditch. 4 bass on a swim bait. I went hard saving that bait too. No comfort was spared saving those baits. That water was cold, and it felt helpless for a while trying to save that bait from that pallet box on the pontoon. But we got the bait, we're good. Oh, by the way, this kind of ended up being this. I know I showed you this. This might not get finished, it might get finished, who knows, it just depends on what I feel like doing. But this was gonna be like a musky snake hybrid version with teeth, like a gnarly musky snake hybrid thing. I don't know why, but that's what that was gonna be. We did that instead. Clear the air right there. Who knows what the next bait's gonna be. I have to draw it up still. I'm gonna get to it. On to the next bait. Very beefy. Woo! Quite spiffy. This stuff does stuff to stuff. Good not to get that stuff in your eye. Why is this paper towel sticky? Oh! I'll tell you what. Would you guys focus here?